What up, y'all? Welcome back to another conversation here on the Jimmy Dukes Rodriguez channel on YouTube. Fight Talk with Jimmy Dukes. We're here with undefeated Miss Poison Ivy Enriquez. How are you?
Good. How about yourself?
Good. Thank you so much for your time. I know we got a fight coming up, and I wanted to loop back around to talking to you. I had the pleasure of calling your first pro fight.
I know.
You know, that was cool for Empire Promotions in February, and you went out there and got it done. You looked good, and here you are at 3-0. So how have you been?
Good. You know, just training, grinding. You know, everything. So everything's been good.
Yeah, I know that I had you on the podcast and we talked about you being in high school, and you know. Now you're out.
Yeah.
Graduated. Yeah, graduated. Congratulations.
Thank you.
One less thing to worry about.
I know.
Because I know you would say that, you know, you train before school, go to school, do homework, train.
School, homework, and then back to training, and then it was chaotic. But
and you still did it.
Yeah, I still did it. I still graduated.
Right, you still got it done. But I had a couple questions for you, if you don't mind. I wanted to see how you've been and kind of talk about what's been going on lately since we last spoke.
No, yeah.
Sound good?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So obviously, you're 3-0.
3-0.
You know what I mean?
Soon to be 4-0.
Yeah, I like the confidence. How has the transition to the pro ranks been so far from the amateur?
Yeah, it's been different. Not only from things like weighing in to like a day before to like just doing 2 minutes. Like now, I mean, amateurs, I did 3 minutes, 3 rounds, but now it's 2 minutes starting off with 4 rounds. But yeah, it's been a big transition just from those little things, from like having to cut weight, you know, weighing in a day before, like the actual fight, unlike amateurs where it was just you weigh in that same day, and if you were dehydrated already, it was gonna, it could affect your performance that same day. So yeah, it was, I mean, I would say it was a big change for me, but I enjoyed it. Yeah,
so obviously weighing in a whole day before, now 3 fights in a row, you feel like more like healthier, you feel like you could do better in the fight.
Yeah, feel stronger. So
yeah, that's good. That's cool. I mean, that's one thing that, you know, I forget about that, because I know during the amateurs there's a lot of different ways for boxing and things like that. So the fact that you even brought that up, like, hey, just the fact that my last 3 fights I didn't have to worry about the weight a whole, like the day of and like before, you were already done with it.
Yeah, because it was like, oh, you would fight, okay, say you would win, then you're back to worrying about weight, you know?
Yeah.
So you weren't able to enjoy right after your fight.
Yeah.
Nothing like that, or that win, because you knew you had to go back to dropping the weight.
Yeah.
That same night.
That's so like for the amateur. So if you're in a tournament, like you have to constantly be weighing around that weight.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you have to manage that weight that whole week if you're fighting every day.
Yeah. So, holy smokes. Yeah. That sounds terrible. But now you're a pro. You don't have to worry about that.
I know. Worrying about one fight and that's it.
Yeah. So what's the biggest difference between amateur Ivy and pro Ivy?
I think I've evolved a lot as a boxer. Just also like my confidence level, you know, just mentally, because, you know, that takes a lot. I mean, yeah, it was in the amateurs. It was something that having a good mentality was something big, but I feel like it's a different type of, like a different level becoming professional, because now it's like no headgear, you know, less protection, and, you know, you're fighting like women, grown women. So yeah, I think just I would say I'm more, what would you say, wiser?
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
in the boxing world.
Yeah.
So I would say that's the difference between my amateur self and like me now, is that I'm just more cautious. Yeah. More cautious. I'm more technical, especially now that, you know, have no headgear and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, that's what I would.
I like how you said that, and you're fighting grown women.
Yeah.
You know, that strength does come into play. I can only imagine, and now you don't have headgear and things like that. But with that being said, you know, now that you're officially a professional, does it feel surreal or different to say, hey, I'm a pro boxer?
Yeah, it does, because, you know, like, it was I mean, amateur, I had a good run, you know, nothing to complain about that. But, I mean, becoming professional has always been, like, a dream of mine, a goal of mine. So, to be able to finally say that, like, oh, I'm professional, you know,
Yeah.
it's amazing. But
Yeah, because I mean, when I first got to talk to you on the podcast and before the Empire, your pro debut, I was so tripped out of how many damn fights you had. I was like,
Oh, yeah.
holy smokes. But you had been doing it for so long. So like, you're already like, you are used to the grind and the, you know what I mean? And you guys have, yeah, I know you talked about your family all the time and how you guys have all kept together, and this is that kind of family sport, and how you guys all involve yourself in the community. So it's easy for you to be like, oh, it's a normal day because I've been doing it for so long.
No, yeah. So this is my everyday life. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy because like you were saying, like I've been looking forward to being a pro, and now you're here. So it's cool to see that. You know, now that I got to know you from the beginning of the year and seeing you progress, and you know, getting those fights in and doing well, man, it's awesome.
Yeah.
But with the experience and you gained through the amateur ranks, do you feel like that background give you a big edge stepping into the pros compared to a lot of women that might just have less than 20 fights period as amateurs, or, you know, does having that experience of all those years benefit you and give you a better edge, you think?
No, yeah, of course. You know, just, you know, from even the sparrings, going out of town and sparring people from different states,
Yeah.
you know, because everyone fights different.
Yeah.
No one has the same style, you know. But so little things like that, just from sparring and going to tournaments and getting work out there and the fights, you know, the experience does help in the long run. And I mean, it shows obviously through my last fight, because I was fighting women like that, you know, are professional boxers, and they've been professional boxers for a while because, you know, they had a big, a lot of fights. So I think, it definitely did help.
Yeah, because I mean, you like, it doesn't matter, like from amateur and like you're wearing headgear or whatever, but yeah, I mean, getting in those rounds. And I mean, I can only say this because I do jiu-jitsu, but I feel like every time I get on the mat, even if I get my butt kicked, if I'm training or whatever, I'm getting better looks every single time I'm getting that mat time. So I can only imagine that, you know, having that confidence of being an amateur for so long, and then you went in your pro, like compared to somebody who, I mean, nothing against anybody else or pro women that maybe didn't have any amateur fights and they were pretty good and they just went pro right away.
Yeah, no,
they don't get those rounds in like somebody like yourself, right?
Yeah. No, yeah, and just like you said, the confidence too. You know, a lot of that has to do with your confidence.
Yeah, I've been tagged a couple times. I know how it feels.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because sometimes, like, I tell people all the time, I'm like, I mean, I've never been punched in the face really hard, or I've never really been in a real sparring match or anything.
Yeah.
But I've seen people like who are, you know, they're killers in the gym, and then they get in a fight. And they're just like, they get tagged in the face and they're like, oh, you know what I mean? And for you, you're like, I've been in there enough. I've gotten punched a lot. And you spar with a bunch of guys too. So it's not like you're just boxing a bunch of women this whole time. So you feel the different kind of power, right?
No, for sure. That's why when people ask me like, who has hit you the hardest? Like, I can't tell you a specific person because I've sparred so many boys. Yeah. Like, through the 10 years I've been boxing, so, you know, it's hard to tell you just one person because I've been sparring boys.
Right. I could take it on the chin. So if I could take a guy's shot, I'm pretty sure I could take a woman's shot, right? Yeah, that's cool, man. So, you know, going to the amateurs, and now you're 3-0 as a pro. Do you know, each fight puts you on a bigger stage, you know what I mean? You fought here in El Paso, that was cool. Then you went to Odessa, that was cool. And then you went to
Hollywood, California,
that was cool, and fought on the Zone.
On the Zone, yes.
Yeah, so, you know, do you get excited showcasing your skill in front of more people each time? It seems like the stage is getting bigger and bigger. Do you get excited to knowing that you're on a bigger stage each time?
No, yeah, with that comes nerves, but I feel like that only helps me. It gets me anxious, it gets me hyped. So I think, you know, all this, the bigger the stage, you know, the more excitement. So I think it's only benefited me from.
Yeah, going each time.
Yeah.
I always tell people all the time, I feel, and like I said, I always tell people, I know a lot of the guys in the fight game and girls and like, and I can't feel how you guys feel, but I always feel like anytime I've gotten to know some of the fighters, they say like they get a little nervous. I feel like some of them say that that's a good thing because it's like more excitement. Like it's like, oh dang,
adrenaline, everything. I mean, I say it all as a I see it positive.
Yeah.
A positive thing.
Yeah.
You know, so
makes you feel alive. You're like, oh
Yeah.
damn, I'm about to go out here,
yeah.
fight in front of all these people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so.
Especially for how long I've been doing it. So
Yeah.
it's like I know how to kind of manage my nerves and stuff. So
Yeah, that's cool. So, you know, obviously you're 3-0. You've been doing really well, and I know you've been keeping up. I've been following you, and it seems like every time you're going into town for, you know, for teammates or yourself, you're always like, I've seen like screenshots on stories. Hey, anybody down to spar? Like, you know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
cool for you to kind of like, hey, I'm out here. Let me get some work in.
no, yeah. Especially when we went out to Vegas.
Yeah.
My cousin and my brother had a tournament. So just, you know, every time, any opportunity, chance I get, we go out of town, even on vacation.
Yeah.
I get sparring. My dad's like, he's like, I'm gonna call up a coach and get you sparring.
Right?
I'm like, okay,
We're
great.
on vacation. Let me go get punched in the face too while I'm on vacation.
Yeah.
You're so embedded in the game. So, do you feel like any pressure to keep that streak alive, that 3-0, or do you just focus on the growth in your performance each fight?
I would say I do put pressure on myself, but that's just me because of, you know, how I feel people view me.
Yeah.
So I feel like I put that pressure on myself, but I don't think I think, like you said, the growth, I mean, as long as I see growth in myself and my coach sees growth in myself, I'm satisfied. I mean, obviously I want to win every fight.
Of course.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
And to become champion, but just that, like, my dad's told me a couple times, he's like, from your first fight to now, like, I've seen so much improvement,
Yeah.
you know? So, and that feels good hearing from not only my dad, but my coach, you know?
Yeah.
He's the one who knows me the best,
Yeah.
you know, like, inside the ring, outside the ring. But, yeah, I think growth. I mean, it both.
Of course, yeah.
It goes both.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that, you know, you're honest, you're like, yeah, I mean, I want to focus and win, and I want to keep that O, but, I mean, the way you were saying is, like, as long as you keep progressing, you know, that's going to be, like, one less thing to, like, people are always going to have to bring up to you. What about the undefeated? You're like, I'm one thing at a time, right?
Yeah,
One thing at a
exactly.
time. I mean, I want to keep that undefeated streak going, but it seems like you've changed the way you look at things differently because of the pro aspect, you know, and now it's like a job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you got to keep up with yourself more than before. Do you feel like it's a job, or do you feel like, hey, I'm just still having fun and that's better for you?
No, I don't feel like it's a job because I've been doing it for so long. It's a passion of mine.
Nice.
So they say if you love something,
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
So, and that's exactly how I feel. I mean, boxing's been my whole life. So, and I mean, I want it to be my whole life.
Yeah.
Because I see a future in it, and not as a job,
Yeah.
but like as a
Yeah, I mean,
passion, you know?
yeah, that's cool. I can relate that to a little bit too. Like, everybody times they see me like in front of the camera, behind the camera, doing different things. They're like, "Damn, you work so hard." I was like, "I don't think it's work." I mean, I
you
get to
enjoy it.
I get to come hang out with, you know, talk to cool people in the combat sports world. So like, I don't ever see it as a job. So I can totally relate to where, like, hey, as long as like you're doing something you want to pursue and you see yourself doing, I mean, I hope that anybody that's chasing their dreams doesn't feel like it's a job when they get to the point to where they can just be like, hey, this is my life. This is cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we all can't be millionaires doing what we want to do. But hey, if you can make a living and doing that, that's even better, right? But you're only 18, you know,
Yes.
fresh out of high school, you know. Are you going all in on boxing? Are there other goals or other pursuits that you're balancing right now?
Yeah, well, I want to make boxing my main focus, but I would like to go to community college and start there for dental.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I want to become a dental hygienist.
Cool.
Because, you know, you always have to have a backup plan,
Yeah.
but especially in combat sports.
Yeah, you gotta have that paycheck for sure.
Yeah.
Because you could be months between fights, right?
Yeah.
So what made you want to go into that line of work as like something that you wanted to do other than boxing?
I don't know. Honestly,
Yeah.
it was something I just picked. I mean, I heard the money's good.
Yeah, right. Guaranteed. Holidays off. Well, sounds all right.
Good benefits, yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, I had braces
Yeah.
growing up, so, I mean, something about teeth always was like, oh, okay.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about leading up to this fight. You know, July 12th here in El Paso, Texas. how's training camp been leading up to this fight compared to other camps?
Yeah, camp's been a lot way more harder because, I don't know much about my opponent this time just because she's making her pro debut, at least in boxing, because I know she was a multi-fighter.
Okay.
So we don't know much, so kind of just the first round we're going to feel her out and stuff. But yeah, this camp's been intense.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like any other camp.
Yeah, of course.
We don't take no one lightly, but
yeah, of course.
But yeah, just a lot more hours. Now that I'm out of school,
yeah,
I could focus completely my time on boxing. So it's been a good camp.
Yeah, and also, the last 2 fights were out of town, and the fact that here we are in your complex, and talk about having that advantage of being at home, not being in a hotel, not sleeping in your own bed.
Yeah.
What are the talk about how positive that is for you?
Yeah, well, just being comfortable.
Yeah.
I feel like that. Mentally, physically, being ready for the fight. So just being in your own home makes you feel 10 times more comfortable. My own gym.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about that. Finding a gym or somewhere to cut weight.
Yeah.
So I think it's just overall better.
Yeah, all the amenities, right? Because when you go out of town, you got to try to find hopefully the hotel you're going to be staying at has decent amenities, or you don't have to worry about weight cutting or the drive between or wherever it is.
Yeah, or even the time that the gym at the hotel closes.
Yeah.
That's happened to us many times.
Dang, you're like, I've still got to work and cut some weight. Open up this place. Yeah, so that's cool that you're fighting here in El Paso, and you get to sleep in your own bed.
I love my bed.
Right. So has fighting on a larger shows under bigger promotions changed your approach or elevating your training intensity in any way? The fact that now you're like, dang, every time I'm fighting, it's like a bigger stage. So does your intensity change, or does it the same intensity and just different focus, or, talk about that?
Every camp is intense, like I said, because we don't take no one lightly, but it definitely is motivation.
Yeah.
So even my dad's like, during training or during shuttle boxing, my dad's like, he's like, come on, you're going to be fighting here. People are going to be watching you here, you're going to be on TV. So it's like, it's more motivation for me to push myself harder during practice. So, I just see it as motivation.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think, and now that I've been more just around combat athletes, it seems like some of them more than others, they love that limelight, knowing that the fact that they get to go out there and showcase other people don't care so much. So, I always like talking to athletes because everybody carries themselves differently. And I've only been around you a couple times, but it seems like you're always laid back. You're pretty chill, but when you're going in there, you're swinging.
Yeah, no.
That's what they always say, which treats me out, because you're like, you're so chill and laid back.
Yeah, people don't expect me
yeah,
to be like that.
I was watching some of the highlights of that you had from the zone one, and I was like, God damn, Ivy just going all in on this. Good left hook caught again, straight. I was like, God damn, she's not getting tired either.
No, yeah, people, I've been told a bunch of times that I don't have the face of a boxer.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means, but.
Right? It's like, you're not ugly, right? You look like just a sweet person. Like, why are you boxing?
Or because I'm so shy.
Yeah, that
people,
too.
I think,
so reserved, right? And that's the thing too, one thing that I've noticed about fighters I'm around more is everybody fights for different reasons. Everybody has different motivations and way they carry themselves. But, one thing I could say about you is that you've always been yourself every time that, I've seen you around when you're not fighting or just chilling or, supporting the local scene as well. And, I commend you for that, because I always tell people you should always be yourself no matter what. Everywhere you go, you should feel comfortable being yourself. That's the easiest thing you could do, right?
Exactly, yeah.
All right, so July 12th, heading into this fight, how excited are you to fight, in front of your family and your community here in El Paso?
No, yeah, it's exciting. My first fight, I got to fight here for El Paso, my family, my friends, and just the support. I can't explain to somebody how I felt, because I was overwhelmed with
awesome.
The support, and it's amazing. I told my family all the time that if I could, I would go back to that day just to, because of the support. So being able to fight here again in my hometown, and I have more family coming out, so it's gonna be it's gonna be exciting. I know the support and the love is gonna be there for sure. So.
Yeah. It's going to be a little bit more louder now, right?
Yeah, probably.
Bigger stage,
Yes.
more people know who you are, pulling for you. And the fact that you're from here, I like that too, because I feel it's, and now that I've, you know, and I've been honest, like, I wasn't really on the radar for boxing until, like, I started talking to you and getting to know Jackie a little bit more. And, you know, DJ Bonds and just the whole champ camp and just getting to know all and Dom, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, oh, damn, there's a lot of good boxers here.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm just like, because me, I'm like, I'm more into MMA and jiu-jitsu, but now that I'm more aware, I'm like, oh, man, we got a bunch of killers here.
No, yeah, there's a bunch of fighters here in El Paso, and I feel like we don't get recognized as much as El Paso should, but yeah, there's a bunch of good.
But you're changing
boxers.
that, right?
Yeah.
You guys are changing that for sure.
A bunch of us, yeah. There's a couple of fighters. You know, but we have Kayla. You know, we have Stephanie, Jennifer Hunt.
Oh yeah, see.
Yeah, we have Moises. And we have Dom.
Yeah.
Tovar.
Yeah, Tovar's fighting on that card too. So
we have a lot of great fighters.
Yeah, I love that, and that's great. And then the fact that promotions keep coming here to El Paso and pulling talent from here as well, and talent from other places, and then you guys get to showcase your skills in front of people outside the city, and then also for the people here in the city. But before we get out of here, any shout outs, anything you want to say before you get off your chest?
Just shout out to my family, my coaches, everyone who supported me. I mean, I'm excited to put on a show again here in my hometown, so it's gonna be exciting, and I'm ready. Yeah, you're always ready. You're always ready. But July 12th, the Coliseum, if I'm not mistaken. Where could people buy tickets? You can buy tickets on my Instagram. That's at poisonivy_3_, or you can go to the Facebook page. It's called Nightmare Boxing. That's where everything else, like our whole team, our whole team's page. And then, or you could just contact me through Instagram, and then I could give you tickets in hand. Nice. But there's also a QR code. There you go. There's also a QR code. You can find on my Instagram too, and then the code is ENRIQU. Cool. And I'll put that in the description there, guys, or put it at the bottom of the screen. But thank you so much for your time. No, thank you. I know you got to do some training here and cut some weight, fight week. But I appreciate your time once again, and I wish you the best, and look forward to talking to you after. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. You guys, make sure you guys keep up with Fight Talk with Jimmy Dukes here on the Jimmy Dukes Rodriguez YouTube channel. Until next time, peace out, y'all. Hey, you killed it. Thank you. Thank you, my dear. Thank you, thank you, thank you.